What forces shape a shoreline? A shoreline is the place where land and a body of water meet. Ocean water along a shoreline moves differently than river water moves. Ocean waves crashing against the shoreline have a great deal of energy. Strong waves may erode material. Gentle waves may deposit materials. In addition to waves, ocean water has currents, or stream-like movements of water. Like waves, currents can also erode and deposit materials. Waves. Waves play a major part in building up and breaking down a shoreline. Waves slow down as they approach a shoreline. The first parts of the shoreline that waves meet are the headlands, or pieces of land that project into the water. The slowing waves bend toward the headlands, which concentrates the wave's energy. A huge amount of energy is released when waves crash into headlands, causing the land to erode. The waves striking the areas between headlands have less energy. Therefore, these waves are more likely to deposit materials rather than erode materials. Currents. When water travels almost parallel to the shoreline very near shore, the current is called a longshore current. Longshore currents are caused by waves hitting the shore at an angle. Waves that break at angles move sediment along the coast. The waves push the sand in the same angled direction in which they break. But the return water flow moves sand directly away from the beach. The end result is a zigzag movement of the sand. As sand moves down a beach, the upcurrent end of the beach is eroded away, while the downcurrent end of the beach is built up.
A shoreline, the boundary between land and a large body of water, is constantly changing because of the erosion and deposition caused by water. Water and waves remove sand, rocks, and other material and deposit them elsewhere.
Surf versus turf. What coastal landforms are made by erosion? Wave erosion produces a variety of features along a shoreline. The rate at which rock erodes depends on the hardness of the rock and the energy of the waves. Gentle waves cause very little erosion. Strong waves from heavy storms can increase the rate of erosion. During storms, huge blocks of rock can be broken off and eroded away. In fact, a severe storm can noticeably change the appearance of a shoreline in a single day. In addition to wave energy, the hardness of the rock making up the coastline affects how quickly the coastline is eroded. Very hard rock can slow the rate of erosion because it takes a great deal of wave energy to break up hard rock. Soft rock erodes more rapidly. Many shoreline features are caused by differences in rock hardness. Over time, a large area of softer rock can be eroded by strong waves. As a result, part of the shoreline is carved out and forms a bay.
Cliffs are formed by weathering and erosion. Erosion carries away rock particles and dissolved material from the weathered rock face. Erosion of sea cliffs can lead to the formation of sea stacks, or freestanding columns of hard stone cut off from the shore.
Shifting sands. What coastal landforms are made by deposition? Waves and currents carry a variety of materials, including sand, rock, dead coral, and shells. Often these materials are deposited on a shoreline where they form a beach. A beach is an area of shoreline that is made up of material deposited by waves and currents. A great deal of beach material is also deposited by rivers and then is moved down the shoreline by currents.
Erosion and deposition of sand by water form and sometimes remove coastal beaches. Erosion and deposition of the sandy areas on a shoreline are part of a natural cycle, but there is some concern that beach erosion is worsening as ocean levels rise because of melting ice caps and glaciers. Barrier islands are long, narrow sand islands that parallel the shoreline. They help to protect the coast from erosion by buffering the shoreline from waves and by forming areas that capture sediment. Waves erode and remove sand and sediment from barrier islands. Water from storms, such as hurricanes, wash over barrier islands and can severely erode or submerge them. A sandbar is a ridge of sand or coarse sediment in a river or along a coastal shoreline. Formed by deposition of sand and sediment by water, sandbars can be completely or partially submerged. Sandbars are always shifting, whether slightly or dramatically. Erosion and deposition are natural processes that can make beautiful landforms and rebuild sandy beaches. At other times, though, erosion and deposition harm the environment. When bare soil is exposed, wind and water cause much more erosion than when soil is covered by vegetation. Most of this eroded sediment ends up in surface water, including streams and lakes. This excess sediment can cause problems in water habitats by preventing sunlight from reaching the plants that are growing in the water, thus interfering with the mating and feeding of organisms.